Morning. Wake up to Rodney. So let's talk about Mimi Zhu, the 18-year-old English girl, English, Chinese, Welsh, British girl, whatever you want to call her. I hope we claim her as English pretty soon, as opposed to the Welsh claiming her like they did with Gareth Bale. Anyway, so Mimi Zhu and her mum Wendy. Now, let me explain something. They were part of a system, and a system that was not conducive to creating the Mimi that we see now. Now, that Wendy, the Mimi's mum, demanded better because she knew she wasn't competing against the girls who she was hitting with. She wasn't competing against the girls at another location in the UK. She was competing against girls around the world. And when that's the case, you have to understand what elite performance is and what just doing stuff in what's considered an elite environment but not elite. So once she recognised that, she bounced, she moved, she took a risk, she made a decision, because, and I talk about it in my book, the key performance indicators weren't or aren't being met. And if they weren't or aren't being met, then you cannot, you cannot reach the levels that she's reached. Especially with her skill set, for example. Now, there were girls who were better at tennis than Mimi. And I remember having this debate with a tennis coach. There were girls who are better at tennis, but aren't the best at applying those techniques or tactics or whatever it is to the court at the younger age. So does she have a better looking forehand? Yes. Does she have a better serve? Yes. Does she have a better backhand? Yes. Does she have better ways at achieving whatever it is? Probably. Yeah. However, what matters is isn't how good you look on a video, isn't how good you look hitting a forehand or a serve or serving down the tee or hitting a can of balls. None of that matters. What matters is, do you hit your key performance indicators? And if you are cautious, you will miss opportunities. And in that cautiousness, the girls who were probably better at tennis, who would beat Mimi, or would have beat Mimi, yeah, never hit those key performance indicators, therefore never took the opportunities, therefore never developed. Now, my debate isn't whether these other players don't have a better life. They probably have a much more relaxed life, because the life, and I've said this, and I said this to the particular parents, the life of a tennis coach or a tennis parent is not easy, is not the enjoyable thing that you think you might see or you think is evident when you see them winning and hugging their parents. That's like, what, 1/5, 1/7, considering it on average it takes 7 times to win a tournament. That's like a small percentage of the time. The rest of the percentage of the time you're spent stressing, you're spent pulling your hair out, you're spent getting upset, you're spent getting food together, diets together, finding courts, arguing with other people, other coaches, all of those types of things. All of those things come into play. So the life is stressful. So unless you are ready for that stress, yeah, of which it looks Wendy is, the first battle that Wendy won was with the national governing body. This is not good enough. We need, deserve, we want better. So as a result, she moved to London and she got better. Now, and I keep saying this, so many people are kept in check by fear. When they have a fear, they won't move forward. Fear holds talent back. Fear is restrictive. Yeah. And when these people are restrictive, yeah, you can't legislate for the fact that their child has not reached their potential. That is it. Because if you don't take risks, you can't take opportunities. Because risks create opportunities. That's it.
In a quarter of a mile,
now,
slide left A50
the shame is,
to M1 South,
yes, some of the better girls, yeah, they never did any 10 pros, yeah, they never went to any other academies, they never left the coach that they were at with or with, yeah, they never did anything, and as a result, they never got anywhere. Yes, don't get me wrong, they got a scholarship in the USA, and scholarships in the USA are fantastic. Yeah, and like I said, stress of being a tennis pro isn't for everybody, and it just wasn't for them. They were never going to make it. And they always judged, and that's why I always say anybody can become a tennis pro, because it's not down to how good you are. Because I guarantee you, there will be people who will have better technique, way better technique than Mimi, way better technique. Yeah, if it was clearly down to just how good your technique is, it would be easy to become a tennis pro, because that's what British coaches are the best at, is teaching technique. Now, it's not about, and that's why I kept saying go to 10 pros, and they never did. And then when they did finally go into Europe, they went to ones that were ridiculous, that paid no homage to any development. They were just prestigious places to go, or cheaper places to get points, one of the two. Yeah, even so, it showed that they didn't understand the task. Even though they were being told by me, I told them all. There's not a parent out there that I didn't say, do 10 pros, go and get exposed, go and see if you can deal with the pressure. There's not a parent out there that I didn't tell. There's not a parent out there who couldn't have bought my book and read it. So they've only got themselves to blame. But I personally, knowing how hard it is, I know they didn't want it. They didn't want that they didn't want that life for their daughter or son. They didn't want it. They pretended to, but when it came down to it, it's too far removed from what they know. And that's what people think. They think that, and it's the same in many walks of life, yeah, they think it's an extension of how they got successful. So only a few people have got really successful. And what most people do is they think that you go to school, you do your GCSEs, you go to college or sixth form, you do your A levels. You go to college, you do a foundation year. You go to the university, you do your degree. Then you get a job. Then you find a boyfriend or girlfriend. Then you get married. Then you have children. Then you buy a house. And they think it's that linear path. Tennis doesn't work like that. At 14, you might get the best opportunity going that you'll never get again. Yeah. That's it. Your opportunity might not come, and it might not come till later. In which case, the opportunity might not come. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, when you think of it like that, you've always got to be ready for that KPI. You've always got to be ready for that opportunity. And that's what so many people miss. And I use my own self with my photography. I didn't wait till I had a photography degree. I didn't wait until this. I just had a camera. I went to places where there were interesting places to take photographs, and I took photographs. And for a few years, I did really, really well. amazing. Yeah. I didn't have the guidance, blah, blah, blah. But I put myself in situations where I could be successful, which is why I knew when I was doing the tennis journey with my daughter, it didn't matter how good she was. What mattered was putting her in situations where she can understand there's an opportunity. Did she take them? It's irrelevant whether she took them or not. What's relevant is I gave them to her. I made them available. Does that make sense? So, well done to Mimi. But I just wanted to give you some foundation that Mimi is where she is through hard work, through determination, through taking risks, through not following the status quo, through not following rules, through not listening to the people who have agendas, through not living in fear. Yeah. And all of those things added up to where she is now. That's why she's won at 18. Alright, it's a W1, W35, whatever it is. It's not like she's won a Grand Slam. But, you know, she's where she is because, and I keep saying it, follow all my other videos. You are where you are because of the decisions you made. I am where I am because of the decisions I've made. I chose to go into the staff room and speak to those weapons. Yeah, I chose to listen and befriend some absolute salad. Yeah, so therefore, when they stabbed me in the back, yeah, what did I expect? I chose to waste my time trying to convince the parents of talented tennis players that their player was talented. As soon as that was the case, I should have known I was wasting my time. And I wasted a couple of years of my life with these people because they never listened. They never took on board what it was. So I've only got myself to blame. But however, now I'm a different person. I'm a different person. Yeah. And therefore, I approach all situations differently. I still take risks, but I take opportunities, and from that I'm doing well at the moment. Touch wood, if there's any wood in here. I'll have a sip of my tea, that'll do. Yeah, I nearly finished my tea. Oh no, I haven't opened it. So listen, like and subscribe, guys. Buy my book and finally listen. Take on board the lessons that I'm teaching you. Like, I gotta quickly dig this one girl out again. You know, this girl had this extreme grip, yeah. But she would never go to Spain where they would teach her how to use that grip. Not to change the grip, how to use the grip. Don't play tennis anymore. Again, you miss the key performance indicators. The mum had money. The mum had money. But again, fear. And she always, it's like if you watch Married at First Sight, there's an Asian girl there, and she always wants I can't think of the word, reassurance, instead of just being confident in what she's got. So because she always wants reassurance, she's actually annoying. Now, when you always want reassurance, that means you have a level of insecurity. Insecurity is the opposite of confidence. So therefore, because the mum had insecurities, she would never take an opportunity. Never. And that was her downfall. Well, not her downfall, her daughter's downfall. Her daughter would never achieve her potential because the mum would never take a risk because of insecurity. I could list 20 players. 20. Now, agreed, the player might just not want to be a tennis player, might just not want that. They might think they want it, but not want the hard work. Now, that is true as well. That is also a truth. Yeah, that the child might not want it, but my argument is, how do children know what they want? Unless a child comes out and says exactly what they want. What do they want? Because I'm sure what they want would be millions of pounds. Andreeva's a multi-millionaire. She's not even 90, she's 19. She's world number 9, Mira Andreeva. Someone else who I saw on the journey up, someone else who a number of these girls are better than, or were better than, not now, but were better than. But when you take your opportunities, yeah, you achieve. When you don't take your opportunities, you don't achieve. Mira took her opportunities and look where she is. That is it. It's just fact. So Mira Andreeva's got signed a £3 million contract with Nike or whoever it was. Yeah. So £3 million contract with Nike. Yeah, she's made the mum can relax. She don't need to go to no matches no more. Send the dad or whoever it is that goes. Anyway, I am going now. But well done to Mimi's you. Excellent work. You proved me right. Take the risks. Take the risks, reap the rewards. Don't take the risks. There's no rewards to reap. Yes, you might do nice things, but that's it. Listen, like and subscribe, guys. See you in a bit. Bye.